Good evening. You're watching the Cheese Room podcast with me, the caller. Christ, I need a haircut. Looking at that mock. I'm live from the man cave with two beautiful fellows. We may or may not be. We're late tonight because there's no HG and we don't know what's happened to him. So welfare check. HG, are you okay? Are you okay, HG? If someone could send out an SOS and let us know that he's okay, mark him safe on Facebook or whatever, that'd be great. But I am joined by two of the gentlemen and potentially Brendan McGurty. Who knows if he'll be drunk or not? Might show up tonight as well. First of all the way from Australia, it's not Dave-O for once. It's a real Australian. JP, how you doing, my man?
Doing well, but on my absolute best behaviour this week. So ready to keep it going for another 2 days and then hopefully start absolutely slapping down some shithousery.
I've seen a lot of people going early.
Yeah, it's not. I'm uncomfortable with all of it. Keep it in. Keep it together. I've been through this too many times to know that we're jumping the gun here.
We just need to hold on. Just hold on. Just 2 more days.
The equation is way too simple for it to be so simple.
Yeah. I've got to be honest. I'm worried. I'm genuinely worried about it, and we'll talk on about how worried we all are during the show. Let us know in the chat. Send us a super chat, please. It's the end of the season. Come on, send us a super chat. We haven't had one for ages. I'd love to get your questions and comments on the show tonight. James, the first, is with us tonight. Your dad's organising a rave or something, James. Did you not think of blagging a ticket and going to that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's a bit too mainstream for me. I've already been to one this week. I don't need to go to another one actually. I've already been to a pub today as well. If I go out anymore, I'm an alcoholic basically. So gotta keep on the down low. And I'd much rather be with you, lovely people.
Absolutely,
both of you and everyone watching. I'd much rather share my wisdom with all of you and take the questions you have. So.
Wisdom or waffle, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, of course. Even my friends say I do that. So
just padding.
We got loads of people in already. So hello to channel members. I've seen Stevie's here. The king, Stevie Diver of the Conte camp. Paul Muir, how you doing this evening? Great to hear from you, buddy. And Adrian saying, what are we drinking? What are we drinking this evening? I've got some. I've had a particularly shit day, if I'm being really honest. A bit rough day at work, and kids kept me up late. I've literally come straight from putting the kids to bed into here. So I'm drinking a nice gin and tonic, and it's going down rather fast. So you may see me back and forth to the bar quite a lot tonight. Although I'm working in the morning, so drinking on a school night probably isn't a done thing. But it's going to ease the pain. What are you drinking tonight, gentlemen? I mean, JP, I guess you're on coffee because you've just woken up.
Yeah, tall glass of water. But I will definitely be getting around it later this afternoon.
And James?
I've got this, and if I run out of this, I have scotch. So we'll see how much I get through.
I mean, does anyone believe this? I've got a bottle of Gavi from the co-op from Steve. He kind of... No, he doesn't exude Gavi, does he? I mean, let's be honest.
No. Can the Tunnel Club drink Gavi? Is that part of their agreement?
I mean, firstly, he would have to go to the co-op. Everyone knows Diver doesn't leave his house. The shop comes to him. There's absolutely no chance of that. Secondly, it's not got any bubbles in it. I'm pretty sure, unless it's a carbonated bottle of Gavi, if such a thing exists. Hi, Becky. Becky's in the chat. Adrian's got 18 cans of Stella. You'll need that and some more for Sunday, I think. Franco's in the chat. Massive shout out, Franco. We haven't podded in so long. I've forgotten what you look like, so hopefully see you soon. He says, James looks a bit Richard Ashcroft tonight. Do you know who Richard Ashcroft is, James?
No clue.
Really?
Yeah, I have no clue. Shall I Google him?
Yeah, Bittersweet Symphony. The Verve lead singer.
You're saying words, but
plus a very successful solo career. So there you go. So we're going to talk about a bit of food poisoning in the camp. We're going to talk about our weekend game, the fixture that could send us to the Champions League with just a draw, Norwich away. What could possibly go wrong? We'll talk about end of season games. What's your favourite end of season game? Let us know in the chat when we get to that. So you've got a long time. I'm forewarning you now. Have a think about it. Ed Harris says, JP, don't forget to vote. No, I don't. To be honest, but yeah.
federal election today.
Some Australian thing, is it?
Yeah. Got to go get my Liberty sausage and vote for federal election, which will be fun.
Your what sausage?
Yeah, your Liberty sausage. Freedom sausages. You go to the election, you get a snag. Mate, it's a tradition. It's the only thing you do on election day.
You eat hot dogs on election day?
Yes.
Sounds awfully American.
I've got to be honest. That actually appeals to me because I like eating.
It's genuinely the best thing about voting. You turn up at the voting centre. There'll be a barbecue being put on by the local school or charity organisation. Democracy sausage. Thank you, Cameron.
We've got Australians and a wannabe Australian right here in the chat. Yeah.
It's the best thing that could happen to democracy is the democracy sausage. Gets everyone out to vote. If Americans wanted to increase their polling numbers, get a democracy sausage going on.
Are these free or something?
No, about $2 a snag, but it's all worth it.
A snag? What's a snag?
Well, a democracy sausage, naturally.
That's called a snag.
A snag. This can't be Australian slang.
I think it might be. What, a sausage is a snag or a snack is a snag?
A sausage is a snag. Yeah.
We've never heard
No
of
one
that
puts
before.
a shrimp on the barbie. It's if you want to really talk it, it's put a snag on the barbie.
Put a snag on the barbie, mate.
Put a snag on the barbie.
Really? That's interesting. Where's HG? No one knows, if I'm honest. Send a party to look for him.
There's a good chance he's drunk somewhere in Frankfurt.
he was a little bit interested, wasn't he? Oh, look at this. Stevie, a pound. Thank you, Steve. You're so generous. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. £1. What's a pound? The shrimp on the barbie or the hot dog?
That's about a snag with today's exchange rate.
Right. Okay.
Thanks, Stevie. I'll be taking that straight down to the local high school.
I got excited. I thought he'd sent us a super chat for £1, but Divers Pockets Association times that by 1,000, it'd be all right. Yeah. Okay. Let's look forward. So, firstly, anyone nervous? Norwich coming up Sunday. Obviously, Arsenal are playing. Who are Arsenal playing? JP.
Everton.
Dele. Return of Dele. Apparently turned up for the second half the other night, turned the game around. Didn't see it myself, so I can't really comment. But let's talk about those two fixtures. Firstly, Norwich. James, I'll come to you first. Are you a little bit worried?
No, we're going to win. Easy.
Not in the slightest.
No, I'm confident for some reason.
Is this just the kind of confidence that exudes 48 hours before a match, but actually dissipates when sort of 4 p.m. or whatever? What time's kickoff? Is it 3 p.m. or 4 p.m.?
I think it's
2
4
p.m. Okay. Anyway, is it the kind of confidence that dissipates when we get to near kickoff time?
No, because I'll be in the pub by then.
Youthful
So I'll be
arrogance.
drunk. Yeah. Well, no. I think a big part of sport is confidence. So be confident, emit confident energy, and you'll do well.
Are you confident in the chat? Let us know what you think. JP, what are you thinking? Are you confident? Are you like James, not worried about it in the slightest? Or are you like me and have seen Spurs so many times Spurs it up, you're slightly worried about this?
I remember us losing 5-1 to an already relegated Newcastle team years ago. There's more on the line this time. I have confidence that we should beat them, which makes me more nervous than anything. So, I mean, we only need a point, and I keep telling myself that. I'm relatively confident we'll get it done, but when kickoff rolls around, I'm not going to have any nails.
I've got to be honest, I'm kind of a confident person through life normally. I'm quite happy-go-lucky. When it comes to Spurs, I just never expect anything. We should be confident. Norwich are bottom of the league. They've barely won a game all season. They're continuing their yo-yo, form of recent years, up and down, and they've got nothing to play for apart from a little bit of pride. But Here you go. Adrian's bringing the stats tonight. Norwich have scored 23 goals in 37 games and conceded 79. That's over 2 goals a game. Spurs to cruise to comfortable victory by 2 or more goals. But it's Spurs. And we know on the last day of the season, we've got form for this. Let's not forget, we went to Newcastle needing a point to finish second, didn't we? The year we finished third in a 2-horse race. What happened, JP? Wind it back for me.
Well, I've tried to erase most of that memory from my mind, but it's burnt into me. We just got slapped around. No one turned up. It was probably the most insipid performance I've seen from a group of players in ever. No one turned up. The other thing that makes me slightly concerned about it is teams, and particularly this year in their final home game, have turned up. For their fans. Newcastle turned up against Arsenal, so I'm not, Newcastle, I think, were always a shot in that game, but I'm confident, but it is one of those ones where everything seems to be slicing itself together for a really nervy 90 minutes, and then throw in another round of food poisoning, and here we go.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second, as Becky. We were all really confident for Brighton, and we knew how that turned out. James, just you're absolutely in the camp of not being worried. Do you not think you're confident for Brighton, and look how that turned out?
But Brighton are a decent team, right? The reason they haven't won more games is because they struggle with finishing, right? Norwich don't have that. Norwich are just terrible, right? They're just not very good. I mean, Newcastle beat Arsenal, but they have some good players. They have Maximin, they have Wilson. They have a few others who are quite good, but mainly those couple of players, right? And they're playing in front of 50,000 or 45,000 Geordies with their shirts off, right? Who are already drunk. It's Norwich. They're not very good. Who do they have? Max Aarons? No thanks.
Pookie.
Okay, I mean, sure. I mean, I think Moore is probably better than Pookie, but whatever. It's very simple. We know if we win or draw, we have to win. We're playing a Champions League next year, and if we lose, we might be going to Eastern Europe for games on a Thursday next week, which would be depressing. So it's very simple. We have Antonio Conte. He's going to do his best equivalent of, right, lads, they're shit. We're quite good. Win Champions League. If not, have fun in, Warsaw next year, right? Very simple. We're going to batter them. Son's going to be up to get the golden boot.
He's only one goal behind, isn't he?
We're going to win like 4-0. Look, we did it against Woolwich. We did it at Liverpool. We went to Liverpool and got a draw. We're going to do it against Norwich. Simple as.
JP,
I will agree. Like, we're going to do it. The history of being a Spurs fan just makes you incredibly anxious the whole way up to it. But yes, we will get it done. Let's be positive. I'm tempering the level of excitement I put towards this game, just knowing the history we have to come from.
And that history scares us a little bit. I agree. I mean, look, Adrian's there. Pookie has scored 11 of Norwich's 23 goals. Keep him quiet, and we'll be okay. James, what happens if we go a goal down? Will you be worried then?
If we go into half-time a goal down, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I might be quite drunk by then. So, and who's nervous when they're drunk? I mean, if we're like 1-0 down in like the 60th minute, I might go, this isn't great, is it?
This is true, by the way. This is true. The great thing about that Newcastle, Levy decided to spank 30 minutes on Sissoko. Yeah, absolutely. Did you know, by the way, with Sissoko, part of his arrangement fee was that there's a relegation clause. So I think we sold him for 10 million quid. But because they get relegated, we don't pay them anything. Do you know that? Sorry, they don't pay us anything. So
we sold him for 10 million quid, but if they get relegated, they're not going to pay us anything.
Correct, yeah.
Daniel Levy has gone from master negotiator to selling Dele, Alli and Sissoko for nothing.
Yeah, but he did. I mean, Sissoko was on 95k a week, so I guess the motivation for getting that off the books. And I think he had about 2-3 years left on his contract as well, because he signed a new one like 2 years before.
I just think we looked at the table this year and did some like form predictions, and Daniel Levy's gone, yeah, Watford are probably going to finish 16th, and Everton, well, Dele Alli is going to end up playing 20 games in a season where he's only eligible for 17.
Yeah.
I don't know what fixture list he was looking at this year. He's got it all wrong.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Dele, obviously, there's all these rumours that Everton are going to sell Dele. Personally, I think that's bullshit. And now they're in the Premier League, he's definitely going to stay.
They're safe, and I think actually Dele will probably start against the Goons as well.
Oh, can you imagine if Dele scores against them?
I think that he's not been playing because they've not been able to play football. They've just had to get themselves safe. So Dele's not played, but now I think actually. They're a better shot now of taking points in that game because they're safe and they're able to attack the game.
Amazing though, isn't it?
Yeah. The scenes after that were incredible.
I mean, I saw all sorts after the Everton game. Actually, that's a point. We should probably touch on Patrick Vieira. Have you seen the footage of him?
I've not seen the footage. I've heard he was going around kicking.
No, I haven't seen it. I've seen an article where, he was involved in an altercation.
So I don't know how he continues in his job. I'll be honest. So, don't get me wrong. The fans out of order. He's a complete knob. The fans running across the pitch, as are lots of fans. It's a pitch invasion. That's generally what happens. Patrick Vieira. The issue is Everton. The tunnel is in one corner. Opposite side of the pitch is the bench. So he's got to walk through all the fans to get to the tunnel, and as he's walking through, this fan's like just in his face, just shouting at him. Vieira turns around, goes to grab him, and tries to punch him, and then kicks him. The guy goes down, and he's still giving it some. I thought, honestly, it's there you go, Mr. Muir bringing the pain. Should have snapped the little knob in too. He basically did. Hey, look! That wasn't HG. That was Brendan. Hey. I'm sure I didn't dream it.
How are we doing?
All right, we're just talking about Patrick Vieira, like almost going full Cantona on someone. Did you see it?
I did, yeah. I mean, I think they're both in the wrong a bit. The dickhead with the phone, like with his finger up at him, was being a prick. But you kind of, if you're in a position like Vieira, you can't really react like that. But yeah, it was funny to see. Hopefully that's the end of it.
I laugh. I always laugh about Vieira because I always think he's this like gentle giant. He's so softly spoken in press conferences and stuff. He was nutter on the pitch. He's an absolute animal on the pitch. Clearly hasn't changed much and can't control his temper. But I mean, whilst I agree and I can see the comments, I support Vieira on this, etc. I do get all of that point of view. But is it right for a Premier League manager to be kicking a fan?
I think if you were down in the pub, you'd absolutely all get behind Vieira and back him up. But yeah, you can't be anywhere associated to a Premier League team and be seen doing that. I don't think I think he will keep his job, but there'll be some sort of punishment, some fine or something that'll come out of it.
Probably, Brent on you were on YouTube, didn't you, Paul? Twice in a week, actually. Brent did a preview of this. So, Brent, have you got any Norwich insight for us? Because I think I don't know if you were watching the show previously. We were sort of describing, last day jitters from Spurs, and it, it's often the way that we have Spursed it up in the past, but can't see it. Can you? What's your view?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the only people that don't believe we'll get a victory or the point we need are Spurs fans. Everyone else is like, Spurs have got it. But because we've had this trauma for the last 30 plus years, we don't believe it. We won't believe it until Sunday. So the preview show that we did and the other podcasts, everyone's just talking like reminiscing about Lasagna Gate, about the Newcastle game. I think we'll be okay. Norwich are piss poor. They are really bad. Like minus 56 goal difference, I think it is. As you said earlier, scored 21, 11 of which from Pukki, who ain't that great. So yeah,
he ain't that great.
We've got to beat them. If we don't beat them, like everyone said, we don't deserve to be there in the first place. But I'm fairly certain we will. and maybe Everton will get a result against the Goons. The Goons looked dead on their feet against Newcastle. They just looked spent, and Everton have a spring in their step. They stayed up, all the celebrations and the Richarlison throwing water on the other players in the dressing room after the win against Palace. So they could lose.
Yeah, and he's after Jamie Carragher, isn't he, Richarlison today, which I find highly amusing as well. Yeah, highly amusing indeed. Look, I can't see us screwing it up against Norwich. I really can't. Conte is the man, isn't he? Yes, Paul. Conte is the man. I love Antonio Conte. He's the real deal. Well, of course he is. He's won the Premier League. He's won Serie A. You know, he's been an international manager, highly successful. He's one of the greatest managers in the Premier League. I just hope that he gets backed in the summer. We'll talk about that shortly. But I want to bring your attention to this. So I saw a Gary Lineker tweet today saying we've got food poisoning in the camp. Firstly, can I just ask you all your opinion on Gary Lineker? James, you don't know who he is. You won't remember him playing for Tottenham, obviously, but he was my boyhood idol, and it saddens me to see him like this.
Do you know the two things I know of him from? Crisp adverts,
obviously,
and Match of the Day.
Yeah,
and I don't really watch either. I don't know. I don't really have any firm opinions of him. I mean, sometimes he gets into arguments on Twitter.
Normally about politics, to be fair.
I thought because I saw that someone had said that we had food poisoning cases, and then I'd seen other people say we didn't, and it was false news. So
yeah,
I don't know. Just kind of seems like he's stirring the pot up a little bit.
Does seem like that. JP, do you remember Lineker?
I remember Lineker very vaguely. Not much from his playing days. I was probably too young for that. But yeah, no, like his life beyond Tottenham, I've really no interest in.
He was a sensational striker for us, Brent. I had a lot of love for the Lineker, but he started pissing me off, if I'm being really honest, when Leicester won the league, and obviously he's a Leicester lad, and he was just giving it large that season. I just thought, mate, you were a Spurs legend in my eyes when I was a kid. You've ruined it now. But now he's going further, spreading fake news, or is it fake news, about our players?
I think it was exaggerated because he saw the news about Kane being ill, and Kulusevski was ill before. I think there's something going around, but it's not food poisoning. So he kept doubling down on it, and he had this big row with O'Keefe or something it was, who's a ITK Spurs guy.
Did he respond to him, though?
Yeah, they went back. Well, he blocked him afterwards. Like they were getting like this. Is it Pat O'Keefe or something? Someone in the comments.
Paul O'Keefe, yeah.
So, and he was just like, what are you doing? Like, and he was a bit rude. I don't really care that much about Lineker. He's before my time, Spurs-wise. And so for me, it was just,
you're older than me. I know you're younger than me. A year younger. 1 year.
I'm 6 months younger. It's my birthday next month. I'm my 40th, just to remind you.
I'd say I've aged better.
Debatable. But I don't mind him. Of course, he's a Leicester fan. That's fine. The thing today, people saying it's clickbait. Does Gary Lineker need clickbait? I don't know. I just thought he doubled down and it was like, mate, you're having a mare here. Just give it up. Say, all right, I got it wrong. There's no food poisoning. There's a bug going around, but everyone's fine. Job done. But the tweet went mental. I don't mind him. I think he's a good presenter. He was like a good sort of segue from Des Lynam to Lineker, and I don't mind him on Match of the Day. Don't really mind him personality-wise. He seems to do good stuff charity-wise, receiving refugees in his house, and his dog's a sort of adopted street dog, whatever they call it.
Very left-wing.
Yeah, cool. So what?
I'm not saying being left-wing's a bad thing, by the way.
Oh, no, of course you're not saying that, would you?
I'm not indicate that at all. that would indicate I'm right-wing, and that is far from the truth. We both know ourselves.
From right-wing. Yeah. Far right-wing. Truth.
Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, what is the truth? Do we know from the press conference, Bren, sticking with you for just a moment?
Yeah, Conte said that he's sick, but he'll be fine for Sunday. He wants to play. I think it's probably the same thing Kulusevski had last week, and so there is something going around. It's probably the flu or something. I don't know. Probably not COVID, but Conte was quite relaxed. He was laughing away, like he was reminded about lasagna, or told about lasagna gate. It's like, I don't want to know that story. It doesn't sound like a nice story. Everyone throwing up and shitting on the pitch. It's not my gig. We're different.
I remember that.
They were throwing up. I think there was a penalty, and didn't Defoe throw up or something before?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he did or didn't, but I know, like, literally, that whole lasagna gate. I actually remember the next day queuing up in the staff canteen, and lasagna was on the menu, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is just ridiculous!" Because I was getting the piss taken out of me by everyone. Well, who's laughing now? It ruined my year that year. I genuinely thought we were going Champions League that season. It cannot happen again. It cannot happen again. From what I've seen, from what they've said, is that the Kane's the only fitness doubt. But Conte, I believe, cleared that up today, JP, and said, "Oh, you won't know. You've probably been asleep." But he said that Conte said that Kane will start.
Yeah, he will. He'll be fine.
To kind of go against everything I've pessimistically laid out at the beginning of the pod here, I was thinking if Kane was out and we had to start with Bergwijn, I didn't have any dread from that. I actually think that works really quite well against Norwich as well. Bergwijn's back to goal play is excellent. He gives us something in behind as well. So I'm not concerned about that, even if Kane does, need to not start or can't finish the game. I think we've got enough in the tank.
By the way, this is the fact. This is the fact that is always. James, were you aware of this?
Oh yeah, I was going to say he's neither going to shit himself on the pitch.
Yeah.
I thought that might have not been real or an exaggeration, but apparently
he's admitted to it. He's admitted. He sort of slides himself along the pitch to help himself out. Yeah, there's footage of it. Luckily, there was no 4K or HD even back then. So
I guess you say.
Imagine it now. It'd be disaster if that happened now. That'd be an absolute disaster.
Was it Gaza who used to say that he would piss himself before a corner just so the defender wouldn't want to get close to him?
I didn't know.
I might be making this up. It might not have been Gaza, but there was someone who came out and said that every time before a corner he used to just piss himself so the defender wouldn't come close to him.
But speaking of shitting yourself, we thought an idea that Enoch Outlaw. Here's a protest for you. Dirty protest, middle of the pitch. Go on, Dele. Run for it. Centre circle. And Enoch out flags stuck in the middle. Go for it.
You had to go there, Brendan, didn't you? You had to go there.
Was that like a toothpick?
Can't edit that out, There's 130 people watching. Please do hit the like button. Sorry about Brendan's lack of decorum. There will be no dirty protests, I hope. We nearly had a dirty protest. Those handcuffing them, cable tie themselves to the cables around the throat, didn't they? That could have got a bit messy if the clipping had gone wrong. But there you go. God, you've thrown me completely. Right, 4 p.m. I'll tell you something else. This match in the UK. So you're lucky in Brazil, no doubt. You're probably lucky in Australia. But me and James we won't be able to watch the match through legal means because there's only 2 matches on that day. Both on, or 3, is it? All on Sky Sports because BT have used all their picks up. So for the last game of the season, most of the fans won't be able to see it through legal means. I mean, JP, firstly, is that alien to you in Australia? How many channels do you get?
It's completely bizarre. I can get every game on one app. So it's the idea that I can be however many 1,000 kilometers away and watch it, but you might not be able to is absolutely bonkers as a concept. To be honest, it's ridiculous and has to change.
Well, I'm not sure it will change. Brendan, how many channels do you get in Brazil?
Similar to JP, we've got the app. There's the Star Plus app by Disney ESPN, and you just choose the game you want. They've got every single game. So you've got a smart TV, you got the game. And even before then, I'd get more games here than I would in the UK. They'd show on the Saturday, they'd show the early kickoff. There'd be 2 3:00 kickoff games because they've got a few channels, and the late kickoff. So on a Saturday, you could get through 4 or 5 games. Sunday as well. So yeah, here, because Spurs, since we've not been in the Champions League and challenging, we've not really been top billing when it comes to TV. So the app perfect.
Yeah, you make me
I
feel
will
sick. The pair of you, sick as
I
a
will
tongue.
say though that the one challenge is that European competitions, cup competitions, and like the Premier League are all owned by different providers. So I can watch all the Premier League games in one app, but if I wanted to watch the Champions League, I've got to have a different subscription. So,
I mean, I feel so sorry for you.
yeah, it's
Because
a
over
real
here
challenge.
you get Sky Sports with like 150 games or something, so a couple of games every weekend, and then you get BT with like every other week or something ridiculous, and then like Amazon, they've got a bit of rights. I mean, it won't be long before Disney are getting in on the act. James, how do you feel about this whole situation? Is it just bollocks? Do they need to change the rules? I mean, and I was reading an article today in The Athletic about the reason this is in place is to keep people hungry for the Premier League. Would it make any difference if they showed every game? Because to me, not at all. But
keep people hungry. So for you both who get to watch all the Premier League games, are you less excited to watch Spurs knowing that you can watch Spurs play every weekend? Are you less hungry for the Premier League? I mean, let's be honest, it's bullshit, right? Like, end of the day, if people in Australia can watch every single game, then why can't I in England? It's it's stupid. Like, and it's just greed, isn't it? By Sky and BT. Ultimate, it's simple as that.
it's not them, is it? It's the FA, surely.
Sorry, the FA, yeah.
Ultimately, it's the FA that sell the rights, isn't it? Or the Premier League, the FA.
Yeah.
Premier League. Could you mention that next time you're on Premier League TV, Bren, which I know you sometimes are? If you could just like ask them to sort it out, that'd be amazing.
The TV rights deal is that still the backing on the original deal that was signed off when the Premier League formed, or has there been a renegotiation since?
About what? Sorry, JP.
About the TV rights deal with Sky.
They renegotiate every like 2 or 3 years, but there's a couple of things in the UK. There's like a blackout from 3 p.m, so they can't broadcast 3 p.m. kickoffs due to actual law, and that is for this reason to encourage match day attendance. And then the other thing is that obviously from a Premier League rights broadcasting perspective, apparently it's to keep people thirsty and to encourage attendance at clubs, because otherwise people would sit there. But obviously no one's going to sit there. I mean, we sell out games that are on TV all the time, so it's just nonsense, isn't it?
Given the option of going to a game or watching on TV, you want to be at the game every time.
Yeah.
And like keep people thirsty for the game. Like you watch your team play and good teams play. If good teams are playing, I'm watching it. If my team's playing, I'm watching it.
And this is it. This is it entirely. Why would you do anything else? You know?
Yeah.
It's just a bit crazy, really. I mean, I don't know how we're going to watch it, James, to be honest.
You know The Matrix, the film, and there's the scene with like the guy that is the Matrix, and he's in a room surrounded by computers. Yeah, that's TV screens. Yeah, that's me. Don't worry about it. I'm fine.
Are you?
Yeah.
Corey, you said about Disney. Corey, you said they bought ESPN. So out here, it literally is Disney that's transmitting Premier League games in Brazil because it's through
Disney Plus.
It's a package. So you get Disney Plus, and you pay like another £3 per month, and you get Star Plus with it as well. And that's what gives you all the free games. So I'm paying for every Premier League game possible, like £4 or £5 a month. Not even, £4.50 a month.
You're just making me angry. Listen to you. So let's add it up. Like if you're buying a Premier League, so the Sky Sports package is about £35 a month. You can get it discounted to about 25, say. Then you've got BT Sports. That's £28 a month for BT Sports. Obviously, for your Champions League and et cetera, et cetera. Then if you want Amazon Prime, that's another £60 a year, isn't it? So you work that out monthly. I mean, what's your bill going to be? At least 50-something quid, 60 quid for watching all the football that's terrestrial aired. And you can't watch every game for that money.
Yeah.
Over 600-700 quid a year, and you can't watch every game.
Make you even angry, caller. My Premier League subscription just comes as an add-on to my phone plan, so I'm not really paying anything for that. I get every game.
Yeah. It's just honestly, it's just absolutely ridiculous that we're in 2022 and you haven't got the match choice. Obviously, when COVID was on, they did it. Amazon at Christmas, they do match choice and they broadcast every game, and you can just pick between games, and it's great. That's what it should be all the time. I mean, it's just honestly, it's ridiculous. There's 125 people watching. Talking of ridiculous, only 41 of you have hit the like button. So please do smash that like button. It really helps with the Google algorithms. We would love you to hit the subscribe button while you're there. There we go. Look at that. Click that. Click the bell. I'm not talking about Brendan. I'm talking about the little bell, and that will notify you every time we go live. We wouldn't want you to miss out, cheeseheads. Let me ask you a hypothetical question about the weekend, and I'm going to get all your answer on this one. And I want to hear from you in the chat. So send it a super chat or not. Send your comments. I want to know what you think to this. It's 60 minutes into the tie. It's 0-0. Arsenal are 2-0 up at Everton. It's dangerous. What happens? How does Conte play it? JP.
I was actually looking at this earlier because I have this fear that this is a likely scenario and, how far can we go? But looking at Norwich's stats, they concede an awful amount of goals after like the 80th minute. You run through their list and they're conceding a lot after the 80th minute, which is great in terms of the hope it'll give me and the absolute pain that day will be. And a lot of the goals they score are early. So it sets up an absolute nail biter for us if we were to go behind, but it still gives me confidence we'll get it done. I think we've got enough in the team and enough legs, hopefully, to get through and across the line.
Brendan, how does he play at Conte?
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be 0-0 after 60 minutes. If it is, then yeah, I'll be worried. But I mean, this is it. What options does he have off the bench? You got Bergwijn, Lucas, assuming that we have the front three of Kane, Son, and Kulusevski. So maybe see who's not doing the running on the day. If Sonny's not doing his running, sorry, no golden boot, mate.
Mate, Sonny's going to be running, surely.
I know, of course. I have every confidence that he will, but you're asking a hypothetical question that I really don't want to think about. Like, we can't be. But yeah, I've got every confidence that we will. Like JP said, they're shifting goals. Was it 70 goals they've conceded or something? Got minus 56.
Yeah.
Mental goals. So you've got to be able to score. They're not Burnley. They don't sit back. They're going to try and play, and they'll give us space as long as the midfield's on it. As long as the concentration's there, the desire's there, we'll get the goal. I've no doubt.
And they'll final day in front of their fans. They're going to lean into that, and they're going to want to go out on a high note. And a high note for them is not going to be a 0-0 draw. A high note for them is we scored a couple of goals. Yeah. So it'll definitely open them up, and we'll get some opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. James?
That hypothetical won't happen. But if it did, I don't know. Maybe Conte will shout a lot. But I don't know. I mean, do you want to see Harry Winks come on?
No.
Well, there you go.
See Harry Winks go on. I mean, look, Dean's saying you don't bring on.
Well,
Winks.
there you go. So as long as he doesn't do that, it's fine. He can shout a lot.
There you go.
Talk of Harry Winks starting is absolute nonsense as well. There's no reason that starts.
The English Xavi.
No, it's the English Harry Winks. That's all he is. That's all he'll ever amount to for me.
He's the English McTominay.
I've got some very expensive bottles of champagne in that fridge that's staring at me now that Steve Diver would approve of. Steve Diver himself would approve of these bottles of champagne. I know because I sold him some of it. And I tell you now, if the day Winks comes round, I'm going to just spunk a bottle of it live on air.
I think
I'll just spray it everywhere.
Your Winks hate core is so overplayed. Harry Winks is a perfectly adequate.
No, he's not, JP.
Premier League
championship player.
I know you are literally winding me up right now.
He does not have a place in the first team, but he's a perfectly adequate squad player in the Premier League.
No, he's not. He's awful.
100%. He needs a run of games. He'll go to Southampton and he'll be a regular starter.
Literally awful. He won't be a start anywhere. He couldn't start in the conference. The Vauxhall Conference or whatever it's called these days. In National League 1.
a quick idea. Like you said about if the hypothetical, doesn't Paratici have form for match fixing? So he gets on the blow with Dele. Hey, Dele, you throw one in the goal, you get skip next season. I don't know why I'm doing a Mexican accent, he's Italian, but we're like, let's just do it if we have to. Like let's get some match fixing on. I'm happy to sacrifice Paratici if he gets his Champions League next season. He goes to prison. Fine, let's do some match fixing with Dele.
You want Paratici on a plate, you got it.
We end up seeing like 6 Spurs players go on loan to Norwich next season.
Yeah. Dreaded scenario. I don't. And worse, my stream. If I were to choose to watch, I believe the only way I would be able to watch is a legal streaming device. And if I had such a device, it would be well behind the game, which would just be even worse because my Sky app would be. I'd have to disable it, and I'd have to disable all of you lot from telling me what's going on. This is a dreaded scenario. Completely agree. Alan says, how Spursy would it be for us to balls up and Sonny to miss out on the golden boot? Very. Where do you stand? Do you think Sonny's going to do it, by the way, James? You're the man of confidence this evening. He's 1 goal behind Salah. We play Norwich. They play Villa. Do they play Villa? No, they don't play Villa.
No, City play Villa.
City play Villa. Who have Liverpool got?
Watford, I think?
No, it's not Watford.
No, someone not very good.
Someone mid-table, if I remember rightly.
2 seconds, I'll check.
Anyway.
They have Wolves.
Wolves, there you go. My dad's
Same
team.
colour.
Yeah, I can't see. I don't know. What do you think? Gonna get a hatful?
He could definitely score. I think he'll definitely score at least
I'd love
one.
it for Sonny. I'd love it for Sonny.
I mean, had Kane let him take penalties, he'd have already won it by now. So
yeah,
but
that's a good question actually. If a penalty comes our way, do you think Kane still takes it, Bren?
Depends if it's 1-0.
Yeah, Kane takes it. No way. If we're 5-0 up, maybe, and we get a pen, fine. Let's only take it. But if it's 0-0, Kane takes the penalty. No question.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you reckon they'll do the Cruyff penalty?
Who?
No,
I reckon.
That's the thing I'm talking about.
Oh, were they rolling
another
one?
Yeah.
If we get a penalty in like if we get a penalty and it's 0-0, as you said, even if it's 1-0, Kane takes it and he just slams it bottom left. There's no messing around with that. I don't want to see any Panenka bullshit. Like just do it, get it done.
I don't think you're gonna get any bullshit from Kane, are you? Let's be honest.
No,
probably mess around. Looks like Norwich have killed. Yeah, they both started us with Wolves. They did all right against Wolves. I think they drew that game, didn't they?
Yeah, they drew 1-1.
1-1. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I genuinely do worry about it. But there you go. There we go. This man's got it spot on. Winks is a good squad player for maybe Northampton or Rotherham. The problem is, there is a problem with this. Northampton is, within striking distance of my property. So that's a bit close for my liking. So
if you'd seen at your local Tesco caller, how would that be?
Hey?
You'd love it. You'd love it. You'd see him at your local Tesco. You'd love it.
Well, you never know. There you go. Winks look proper cross in the Spurs photos this week. He knows he's leaving and not wanted by Conte. Maybe. I mean, Harry Winks is like
in the squad, not to play him.
He's like that Destiny's Child song Survivor. Like he literally, any new manager that comes in, he wants to prove his worth to the team, and then works really hard in training, and then the result is exactly the same. So there you go. What do I make of the news that MK became a city today? Overdue. The great city of Milton Keynes. Love a bit of Milton Keynes, me. Concrete jungle, full of roundabouts, but apart from that, it's all right.
There's a Dean quote there, from Paul.
Yeah, quote from Dean Smith. It's our last home game of the season. We'll try and win the football game because we want to get the points. Dean Smith looks ahead to Sunday's game with Spurs. It's just not going to happen, is it?
We'll do him. Like he has to say that, doesn't he? And
he's not going to say, "Yeah, we're going to roll over and let them win." I don't like Arsenal very much.
I'm confident. I'm confident, but there's still the Spursy thing. But I'm confident that we've got too much for them, far too much. We scoring goals since the start of the year. We've scored bucket loads, and they've been letting in bucket loads. So West Ham hit them for 4 couple of weeks ago. West Ham, they never, like all their games are 1 or 2 goals in it. It's 4-0, just West Ham. So yeah, we'll do them.
Well, yeah, and Everton. Let's take a prediction from you all then. So let's talk Norwich first. JP, what's the score going to be?
I think we'll do them 4-1.
4-1.
We'll have a nervy moment, but
James,
we'll do it comfortably in the end.
5-0.
5-0. Ultimate confidence or naivety. Brendan.
I like JP's one. I reckon 4-1 as well. Yeah.
I'm going to say 1-0.
Because you like the torture.
Just because I know what it's like supporting Spurs. I've done it a very long time. And, I hope that it's a 4-0. I really hope that it's a 4-0 or a 5-0 or whatever. But I just can't see us doing things the easy way. We never do. No matter who's the manager.
What minute's your goal coming in, caller?
Oh, something ridiculous like the 70th minute. Yeah, 75th minute. So, yeah. If we get a goal, if we go a goal up early, it'll be easy. It'll be a walk in the park. Honestly, that's what I genuinely think. That I think if we get a goal up, we'll run away with it. And you might be on for a 4-1 or a 3-1 or a 5-0 or whatever. But I do think the longer it goes, the more nervy the side will get. We saw it against Burnley, and that was at home with 62,000 fans behind us. Burnley are terrible. That they look poor against Villa the other night, and they're not a good side at all. Yet we really struggled. They were really troubling us with the high balls in the box. They hit the post. Shat nearly smashed the post, and very nearly scored a couple of times. That's nerves. That's not because Burnley are any good. It's just purely nerves because Spurs know what's at stake. And of course, we were tired having just played on the Thursday night.
Exactly.
I do accept that. But a lot of it was nerves. And that's what worries me up. There's going to be an awful lot of nerves because the players know what's at stake. Massive squad bonus, I would imagine. Massive opportunity to play in the Champions League next season. Conte undoubtedly staying. Kane undoubtedly staying. The improved transfer budget for the summer. There is, let's be honest, there is a huge amount at stake.
This is the most important game in our recent history. In terms of what it means for the club moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask another question just on the game? With Liverpool playing Wolves, how many goals do we think Sonny needs to get the Golden Boot?
Well, Salah hasn't been scoring much lately. So, 2 goals.
He's one behind.
If he gets one, it's shit, isn't it? So...
Yeah, my only thought is like when Salah scores, he usually puts a bag in. So, does he need a hat trick? But you know what? Even that's possible.
I think it'd be lovely for Sonny because Sonny's like the service he's given the club, the outstanding service he's given the club, signed a new contract, always played second fiddle. It's nice to see him have some of the limelight for a change because let's face it, he's normally second fiddle to Kane in the goal stakes.
I'd also love it if in a season where people were kind of saying Sonny's off form, he walks away with the Golden Boot.
Yeah. Well, look, I hope that Sonny gets a nice clear win. I hope he gets 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals. I just hope for him to win that Golden Boot because I do genuinely think he absolutely deserves it.
100%.
Yeah, here we go. Winks will score the winner in the 86th minute. Look, I've never liked Harry Winks. I'll be really honest. I've never been on the Winks bandwagon, even when everyone was cracking off over him after one performance against Madrid. He's a Tottenham boy through and through. I get that. I completely understand that. And I want every player when they're on the pitch to do well for Spurs. So I'll absolutely cheer him when he's in a white shirt on the pitch. Having said that, I've seen enough of him to know he is pony at this level. Even as a squad player, he's just not good enough. We should be aiming for better. And to be fair to Harry Winks, the best thing he can do for his career is to go somewhere and play regular football because he's never going to get that at Spurs. There you go. So don't worry. I don't hate him. I just wish that he would play better. And I will open a very nice bottle of champagne for the occasion when he is eventually sold. Salah, do you think he'll play JP? Because
I'm just reading this. I
must admit, didn't he go off injured in the FA Cup final?
I wasn't aware of that, but I'm looking through the comments, and I'll believe our very well-informed cheater and followers.
Yeah.
If that is true, then yeah, I wouldn't risk him in a game against Wolves. I'd be saving him for the Champions League final. So, Liverpool have more than enough to get over Wolves without him. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Clean run for Sonny then, isn't it? Really.
He still needs to score. That's the end thing. Like, I think if Sonny scores, he's every chance of going and getting a second.
He scored against Burnley. Had Steve Diver's mate Pope not turn up and had an absolute world. I thought he was on fire that day. In fact,
the 2 chances he had were super. The second half 2 chances, Pope. I mean, they were quite close to him. You can give him that, but great saves. And on another day, they go in, and then he's ahead already.
Would you take Pope at Spurs, Bren?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I prefer him over. We're talking about getting in Johnson. I think Pope's got more Premier League experience. I don't know if he's at the level to overtake Hugo.
How old's Pope?
Mid to late 20s, I guess.
I think he's mid 20s, and Johnson's 29. So
keepers go
that's
for
23. Goalkeeping years, that's 23. That's fine.
I accept all of that, but we've got 2 years left of Hugo. Presumably, he goes after this contract extension, by which point it'll be 37 thereabouts. It's likely we need to start finding a replacement, isn't it? Johnson isn't that replacement. He's purely a backup, surely, to with Galini going back, JP.
I think the plan would be that Johnson comes in to be understudy for Hugo next year.
Yep.
And that he's that the season following will go and find a younger, kind of up-and-coming player with the understanding that Johnson is good enough to fill in games if that player's not quite there yet. So I think that would be the play, and I'm okay with that. I think it kind of makes sense. We're gonna look for a long-term
cheaper
replacement.
Galini, isn't it?
I think he's better than Galini, and he's homegrown, so it makes a lot of sense.
James, are you a fan of the Pope? Ever been to Rome?
Well, I do have a Rome flag behind me, actually, ancient Rome. Anyway, not a massive fan. Don't think he's brilliant with the ball at his feet. Then again, neither's Hugo. I think in terms of a longer-term replacement for Hugo, I'd prefer someone who could pass to his centre-backs without giving the ball away. That would be nice. I think that's where the modern game's going and has been going for a while now. That's Hugo's biggest deficiency in my eyes, the fact that he can't distribute short. God's on his side. Well, maybe. But yeah, I mean, he's certainly better than Galini, right? Pope is, Galini's pretty terrible, so hopefully I don't see him next season. As a backup, yeah, it's fine. I don't know, how many games do backup keepers play a season? Like 7 or 8? A few games in the Carabao Cup?
Yeah.
Playing the Champions League? A few games in the FA Cup? I don't know, 7 or 8 games? Cool. I mean, fine, yeah. It gives Hugo a break, I guess. I'm fine with that. I think he's pretty decent, but I don't want Spurs to be signing pretty decent players. I want Spurs to be signing players who can be world-class Champions League winners. So, yeah, it's fine, but not ideal.
I'm going to come back to transfers in just a minute because I want to ask you about Dybala and various other players. But before we do that, the other prediction I want from you all is the Everton game, which obviously is crucial potentially to our Champions League qualification. JP, from you first. Everton got to go away to Arsenal last game of the season. What do you think about that? What do you think the score's going to be?
I mentioned earlier that I think Dele's going to start that game now that Everton have got some life back in them and they don't have to worry about defending so much. I reckon it's going to be a 2-2.
Okay.
I think Dele will get a goal as well.
Okay. James?
See, I don't think Arsenal have poor quality players. I think the reason they struggled in their past few games is because of a lack of leadership on the pitch. I think that's somewhat negated by playing at home. Sorry, this is a very long prediction. But I think there's going to be quite a lot of goals in this game. Everton are going to be really up for it. You know, we're all good. We're just here to play football. Arsenal know they need something, so they're going to, you know, they know that if they win, they might get there. So both teams are going to be really up for it. I think I can easily see it being like a 3-2 sort of game.
Okay.
Be favouring Everton? I don't know, but I think there will be quite a few goals. I don't think it'll be a cagey game.
It's got to be a tougher game than, I thought Everton were pretty poor, actually. One of the poorest sides I've seen this season. But they've picked up a little bit of lastminute.com form. Brendan, do you think they've got what it takes to knock over that Gooner side?
See, I was agreeing with JP there that it would be a draw, but like I've seen some of the comments as well. Like Phil Ambrose makes a good comment there that they'll be knackered because they've just played a massive game. Had to come back from 2-0 down, 3-2, and then all the fans on the pitch and celebrations. They'll have definitely gone on the piss last night. So I reckon that'll take its toll. I think maybe I would have ordinarily said a draw, but because their game was yesterday, that extra day recovery is paramount. Arsenal have had since Monday. So I think maybe Arsenal will probably edge it. As much as I want a draw, I reckon Arsenal will edge it based on the fact that they've had recovery. And as Nick Knack points out, they're pretty poor away, Everton. So I reckon it'll probably be 2 or 3-1 to the Goons. But I still think, as Nick Knack says, we'll beat Norwich as well.
The Goons also typically turn around 2 bad results with a fairly decent one as well. So. I don't expect Arsenal to put out a poor performance. Just a little part of me thinks that Everton have maybe got a little bit of a spring in their step, but the comments are also bringing me back down to earth around the turnaround.
I think, look, you've got to be realist about this. Arsenal are a much better side than Everton. Everton are one of the worst sides I've seen in the flesh live this season. They were just absolutely terrible against us, and they've got absolutely no backbone whatsoever. That said, I just hope Dele comes back to haunt them. I predicted Arsenal win 2-1, 3-2, something like that. Be quite a close, entertaining game. But we shall see how that goes. Right, so we've covered Sam Johnson. Jed Spence, there's a bit of noise around right now. So would you take Jed Spence would be my question to you first, Brennan, and then pass it round whilst I refill and refuel on gin and tonic.
He's the the Nottingham Forest guy, yeah?
Correct.
I've seen about half an hour of Norwich play, and that was the game the other night against Sheffield United when they looked fairly decent. It was good they got through. Decent keeper in Samba, but Jed Spence I know very little about. I know he's a championship hot property, but maybe it'd be worth waiting, see how he gets on after a season in the Premier, a bit like we did with Sessegnon. In the Championship, you can look really, really good, but the Premiership, there is a big jump. So I think maybe hold fire for now. Obviously, we need to pay more for him later on, but I'd prefer to pay a bit more and have a bit more assurance that he is ready for the Premier League than sign him now and have another dud from the Championship, which happens. JP?
Just on that, we decided to sign Sessegnon after his season in the Premier League, so maybe we were better off getting him cheaper in the Championship. I would not be opposed to bringing him in. I'm for bringing him in, but I think if we're bringing in Jed Spence, I don't think that covers the right back spot in the window. I think it's Jed Spence +1. Because I think it's too much of a risk to be putting on a position where we clearly need improvement. But I'm not opposed to bringing him in as well.
James?
I wouldn't be surprised to see us go back for old mate Adama because he's not having the best time in Barcelona, is he?
I've got him on my list actually to talk about in a minute. Come back to him.
He's never played in the Prem, so I think if we do sign him, it's got to be kind of like a loan back to Forest sort of type situation to give him a bit longer to develop. I mean, what gap does he fill in the team? He doesn't start, right? He doesn't have that experience. So maybe if it's a case of, okay, we're signing you because you'll be a bit cheaper now, you can go back to Forest, and as you develop, you can be Doherty's replacement to be the younger understudy to the guy Conte wants to play that position.
Hang on a minute. He's not actually contracted to Forest though. He's only on loan at Forest.
Oh, he's a middle
player.
Yeah.
As Craig's pointed out, actually. Yeah.
To Forest.
Yeah. So actually, there's no worry about Forest getting promoted and all that, and wanting to hang on to him, unless they've got some first refusal, which I don't believe that's part of the deal.
Middlesbrough didn't go up there. So the final is Huddersfield, isn't it? Huddersfield against Forest. Okay, so Borough aren't up. So if he goes back to Borough, then he's still a championship player.
Yeah. He's going to be. I think he's going to be the market for a move. I think there's a few clubs looking at him. I mean, I've only seen him play twice, and he looked decent. But it depends what he's going to cost. 15 million, I suppose. This is exactly the kind of player that I think if Davo was here would be saying, we need to not be signing. We need to be signing ready-made players for Conte. Blah 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 blah. Which is right. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's right. But when I ask people to name a right back who Conte would want, they struggle. So hence why we're talking about him. He's definitely one that's going to make it big from what you see. And I think, if we don't sign him, someone will sign him. So absolutely, if we can get him at a reasonable price, I'd have him just for this. So there you go. Okay, Dybala. So it's been in the press this week that we're interested in Dybala and in talks with Dybala. And then following up from that, it came out from Alistair Gold at Football London that we have literally no interest in Dybala because previously Paratici has sort of was trying to ship him out when he was at Juve. So it's unlikely that we're going to make a move for him and sign him. So James, Dybala, it's a shame. Talented player. Are you a fan of him?
Can we not do the whole Dybala to Spurs thing again? I don't need to do that again. No, thank you. Yeah, injured a lot though, right? I don't know where he fits in aside from. I mean, I get scored there, blah 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 blah. But I don't know. Never played in the Premier League, physical league. Could he hack it? Probably, but I don't know. I don't watch much Serie A. He seems like a good player, but I don't know. It's not going to happen, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't look likely, does it, Bren?
No, I think he's going to stay in Italy. There's rumours of Inter and Roma. And I don't like his tattoo, the 2 lines on his arm. What's that about? Like,
I'm
going to be doing trades.
I've got really shit tattoos as well, but his takes the piss. So no, I think we can get. I mean, he's a free, so that's why we're linked with him. But I'm hoping that the Paratici's got his eyes sort of further wide than former Juve players that he's worked with, that he knows well. It's worked with Kulusevski and with Bentancur, but hopefully we've got our eyes elsewhere. There's talk of Eriksen perhaps coming back. I don't know, but yeah, I think he's injury prone, and injury prone Argentines. Nah, we've had enough of them.
Yeah, what's the betting he's out with a hip injury after a month, JP?
Yeah, I think the injury record's probably the biggest
dodgy hips.
Kind of scare off. Yeah, we don't need another Argentinian with dodgy hips. My thing with Dybala is, I think this summer we were first linked with him. I would have been all for it. It would have made a lot of sense. But now I think with kind of the makeup of the squad, he's not really a midfielder, not really a striker. He kind of like plays in a similar position to Dele, and we just don't have that. And if we are playing that person, I think we kind of want Kulusevski playing it. So, if he came and we weren't paying the world for him, great. He's a great option to have in the squad. But I don't necessarily see him as a key part of our first team next year.
Yeah, great player though. Very talented.
Great player. Great. I'd love him.
Genuinely world class. Genuinely world class player.
Yeah.
So I'd be all for it if we can sign it. I'd sign him. I think we should, but I just don't see it happening. This one, I was a little bit surprised about it, if I'm being really honest. So we're apparently looking at John McGinn from Aston Villa. It's not the sexiest signing in the world, is it? And I'd love to know what you think of this in the chat. So do whack in a super chat, put your chat message in the comment box. Let us know what you think of John McGinn to Spurs.
Yeah, so
obviously,
he's not the sexiest.
Scottish international.
Have you seen his arse? He's got a very sexy arse. Like,
Has he?
Big booty on him.
I don't really look at that one. Yeah,
the way it's a bit like Sterling, the way he runs, his arse sticks out a bit. Like, he's got a sexy arse, so don't knock it.
I know you live in Brazil, but
we don't objectify footballers by their arse in the rest of the world, Brendan.
Absolutely not. But interesting. So you think that we should be signing him then, do you, Brent, based on his arse?
Yeah, my instinct's gone funny. No, he's hardworking. I've seen him play obviously for Villa. It was more last season. I haven't seen much of him this season, but last season he seemed to be the main man. When they signed all the players with the Grealish money, he sort of took a back seat this season. But he looked decent. He gets about. He's got that bit of aggression. If Conte wants him, I'll happily.
Well, look, the reality is, if Conte wants anyone, we'll all happily sign up for it. But I do get a bit fed up with this nonsense I see on Twitter saying, "Well, if Conte wants him, just get him." Well, obviously, you could apply that to everybody, and we're all going to be really happy whoever we sign because Conte wants them. Doesn't change us having an opinion on it. So, yeah, okay. Got yours, James. Your opinion? You ever signed him on Football Manager?
No, because he's not a wonder kid, so no point, is there? I don't know. He's like a decent Premier League player, but I'm going to sound like Dave for a second here. Not our level. Should be signing better players. We're going to be playing against, because we will beat Norwich, we're going to be playing against teams like Bayern Munich and Real Madrid next season. Mm-hmm. Do you think he's ready to play in those games? No. Simple answer. So, no, got to sign better players, bigger name players who have some more experience towards the top of the game. Not saying they have to be, I'm not saying we have to sign Karim Benzema, just saying we've got to sign someone of a bit more experience and a bit more quality to complement Son and Kane. So it's not a case of, he can play in the first round of the Carabao Cup against, I don't know, Middlesbrough. No. Don't do that. We have players for that, and they're not very good. So
players coming in have to be better than the ones that are in our first 11 on Sunday. That's it.
Correct.
Absolutely, and that should be the. We had this debate the other week on the show, and I remember getting slated slightly for saying people were not good enough for Spurs. We should be the acid test is, are they better than what we've got now? We should not be signing anyone that isn't better than or as good as a first team 11 player. We've got to improve that side. We've got to get away from this mantra of suck it and see, and we'll see what they're like. And they're a bit unproven at this level, but it's a bit like Spence, who we were just talking about a minute ago. I would rather we go for a really established right back that puts us in, right at the top. So we've got a first choice, really good right back, and Doherty as a backup. That'd do for me. Loan him, so that'll sell him. Fine. Same at left back. I'd want an upgrade on Sessegnon. I think Sessegnon's a good player, and I like Sessegnon. I really like Sessegnon. I think he will be our left wing back for years to come potentially, because I rate him very, very highly. But is he the man to challenge for the league title right now? No. So we should bring in a better left back than Sessegnon. And this is absolutely what we should be aspiring to in the transfer window. Let's go through some of the comments because we have got quite a few. There we go. McGinn, decent player. No to Barber and McGinn. McGinn, good signing. He's decent, but not worth the 50 million that Villa will ask for him. I mean, I can't imagine he's worth 50 million. Christ, all right. McGinn, very similar to Højbjerg. King Odell, McGinn, no way. We need a level higher. Solid squad player. So the rubbish about McGinn. Well, maybe not. I don't know. This is an interesting one. Craig saying, I'm gutted we haven't linked with Calvin Phillips. I'm a bit gutted about that. Now, he is, obviously, we've all seen him play a lot for England. really impressed me whenever I've seen him, and even playing for Leeds. Been out a lot of this season, injured. Bren, what do you think of Phillips?
Yeah, like I said, the injury is a bit of a concern, but he was solid for England last year in the Euros, and yeah, I take him. I think that these sorts of signings hinges on. I think it was Sean that pointed out in the preview the Rice deal. Like if Rice goes to Man United, then suddenly Phillips' price goes up. So you want to get Phillips before Rice is sold. And there's the rivalry between Leeds and United, but I still think that United would go in for Phillips. So if he does go, and if Leeds do go down, which is looking likely, then I think there'll be lots of teams after him. So I take him, no question, but I think he'll have his choice, and he may want to prefer to stay up north. And if City come in for him, like Fernandinho's getting on a bit, I think he's leaving after this season. So they'll need a player there, and so they'll offer better wages. They may stay up north, but I'd take him, in a heartbeat.
Interesting. I'd take Phillips. Cracking haircut as well, hasn't he, James? You've got to admire that.
He's a student of Bielsa, so I like him because of that. Simple as that. Yeah, my only worry is he's similar to what we have in midfield.
He is.
So,
is he better than Ollie Skip? Is he better than Højbjerg?
He's better than Højbjerg. I don't know about Skip, but
yeah,
he walks in. He comes into our first team, or at least gives us a really strong rotation option in that first team. I'm not opposed to that.
I think his passing is a lot more expensive than Højbjerg's, so that's definitely a bonus. It's fine if we can get him, right, but I don't think that's the kind of midfielder we should be looking for. I mean, if he's available, right, for a reasonable fee, yeah, get him. Especially if we can make some money off selling players like Winks. There you go, cool impression. Then sure, but no, like if he would be a good option, but we'd also need two creative midfielders. So
I've got to say, James, if our latest transfer business is an example of how we're going to deal with cast-offs, we're not going to make much money from transfers in this window. Conte likes solid, hard-working players who make up for their lack of talent with hard work. Yeah, I'm available. Tuesday nights, come scout me. I hit a hat-trick in this week. It was absolutely beautiful. John McGinn.
You didn't mention you hit a hat-trick, did you? I didn't hear.
I smashed a hat-trick in. Smashed. And it was beautiful. 2 in the bottom corner, 1 in the top. Boom. 1 with my left as well. Left peg. Sonny, eat your heart out. I tell you.
Well done, mate. Well done. Proud of you.
Absolute pole drivers, a lot of them. I'm saying it's the new Nike boots. I'm not getting anything for saying that, by the way. But if Nike do want to drop me a pair of football boots, or in fact an invite to the stadium to play at a social media influence, me and Brennan more than up for it. If you cover his flight from Brazil, that'd be even better. John McGinn is never really a name I've considered for Spurs, but when I've watched him, he certainly gives off the impression of a Conte player. Just putting it out there, I'm saying me and you, Brad, would run rings around half that lot that got invited to the night day.
I'm over it now. You're clean up. I was like,
only because half of them can't play football. It's a waste.
And half of them aren't even Spurs. Like some of them that went there are QPR fans. And I'm like, God, if you're having an event for influencers, at least make them Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But yeah, it was good to see Abby out. Abby looked great in her kit, and Magic Gaz, friends of the show.
We'll get them back on soon. Yeah.
Yeah, we are Tottenham TV boys were there, and yeah, it looks great fun. And one day, caller, we'll get the call. One day.
I'm not even bothered about the call. I'll play them on the local 5-a-side pitch. I'll play them in Milton Keynes. In fact, to be fair, Gaz and Madge are the only two that haven't sort of bottled the challenge and absolutely have invited us as a chooser and collector to go and play against them. And I'm well up for that, to be honest. I'm well up for that. I've got my shooting boots. We're good to go. Yeah, absolutely. Some more comments coming in. McGinn, top class for Villa this year. He's the reason they don't miss Grealish. Bale made his name in the Championship, remember? Yeah, perfectly true. How much will Winks go for? 20 million. Well, I mean, look, if Sissoko going out in effect for free, he's anything to go by. And, Dele doesn't look like we're going to get next to anything for him. I can't see us getting 20 million for Winks. 10 maybe.
No, I think we can get 20 million for Winks. 15 to 20 is Winks.
Tell me why, JP.
he's still got a name amongst a lot of the clubs, and he's English, and he's 25, 26. He fills a void that a lot of teams need. I think at like a Brighton or a Brentford, he'll do a job there.
The thing is, we're saying we want more creative midfielders, but look at Liverpool. Do they really have a creative midfielder? They've got very similar midfielders. They've got Keita.
Hard workers.
They've got hard workers, exactly, and that's how they play. Their quality comes from the wing backs. So they've got like Henderson, Keita, fair enough, Thiago, maybe Milner. Like they're grafters, and so McGinn is a grafter. So I'm not saying that we're modelling ourselves on Liverpool, but I'm saying that is kind of style that Conte wants to play, but just different formation with the wing backs as opposed to the fullbacks. So if McGinn he is a grafter, he works hard, he's Scottish. So
that's a stereotype.
Hard work is not
hard-working Scottish.
But no, I think that we could do worse, and yeah, I agree that we should be signing players better than what we have. But he could become better with proper coaching from someone like Conte. He could become better than Højbjerg and the likes. So I wouldn't mind him again.
Every time he plays against us, he's run rings around our midfield as well. So I think he'd be a perfectly serviceable option in our midfield and an improvement on the depth options we've got, definitely.
I just think we should be aiming a bit higher than John McGinn. But, he's a perfectly serviceable player. I'd like to be surprised. I'm not really flavour of the month with Højbjerg either, to be honest. So I'd be quite happy to see a better footballer than Højbjerg come in. And some rotation in that midfield would be lovely. Right, let's talk about the next one, the most controversial one. Adama will be back on the market this summer. From what we hear, Adama Traore, Barcelona are not going to take up the option to buy him. He'll be back at Wolves and still hasn't signed a new contract, so maybe he'll be even cheaper. I pretty much think I know what you're all going to say to this, but let's just entertain it for a minute and do send us in your chats. Even if I don't, we disagree, I still value your opinion. Do send them in. Let me know, and we'll get through what we can. Adama, JP, for you?
You're not going to like this. I'm warming to Adama day by day. I think part of that is the idea that he would be the backup to our current wing-back who was out injured, who I'm forgetting his name. Doherty, thank you. If we signed a proper...
So he's not a right wing-back?
He plays on the left wing-back.
Regular.
Yeah, if we sign a proper left wing-back, then Adama on the right, I would be up for that. I think it gives us something moving forward, and he can definitely progress the ball in the final third, which we don't have enough of. But if it's an option of going in for someone like Adama or going for an actual right wing-back, like a Hakimi or someone, which we're not going to be linked with, and that's not going to happen, I definitely prefer that. But I'm up for Adama. I think he improves our squad.
My issue would be his wages to benefit ratio. I think so. I was pro Adama when this was first mooted. I've got to be honest. It depends on the cost. Depends on the cost and the risk of the deal, because
10 million for Adama. I think that's what he goes for this summer.
But what's his wages like? What's his wages like? I mean, the guy's demanding 150 grand a week at Wolves.
He took 100 to go and play for Barcelona. I think
no. He's demanding. He's not on 100. He's on about 20 at Barcelona. I think he's on about 50 at Wolves. He took a pay cut to play for Wolves. Yeah. If I remember, to play for Barcelona, I should say. He's not a wing back. He's not a wing back. There's got to be better options in the market that are actually wing backs. If we're signing him to be backup to Kulusevski, Lucas, then maybe. But if you're paying him 150k a week, hell no.
No, you don't pay him 150. You get him for under 100. And I
under
think
100, hell no.
In his head, 50, he's
maybe.
Not a wing back. But he, as a player, he is a wing back. He just hasn't come to that realization yet.
Okay. All right. I have 2 points. Firstly, Victor Moses wasn't a wing back before Antonio Conte arrived at Chelsea.
Very true.
And B, He took a massive pay cut to go to Barcelona. I think he'd probably take a pay cut to live in London as opposed to Wolves and to play in the Champions League. So, again, if it was for a reasonable
I'll
fee...
just point out we're not in the Champions League yet, James. And
yes, we are.
Champagne cork is not being popped until Sunday at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and I don't have a degree yet, but I'm going to have one. So, it's as simple as that, isn't it? So maybe, if it's for a reasonable fee, if we could get someone better, yeah, sure. But, if that means we can put more money towards other positions while he does a job, I don't hate it.
David, well done. It's a wise move to click the like. Thank you very much for doing so. If everyone else could click the like button, we'd really appreciate it as well. Brendan, Adama.
The thing is, I was disappointed when we didn't get him. But in saying that, like his end product is awful. Like his assists, when you got strikers like Jimenez and he's had Jota there as well, you're kind of like, well, how has he not got more assists if he's that attacking sort of player? So, like we said, there's ball progression there, but his stats are really poor. And I think we could get better value from the continent, both for wages and even at the transfer fees. So I'm done. Like I think someone else commented, it might have been Daniel Harrison. The ship sailed, and for me, the ship sailed. Let's find someone better. I'm sure there's better out there.
I mean, look, let's go through some comments on Adama. He divides opinion. I'm going to resort to this. Well, if Conte wants him, let's give Conte what he wants. Who are we to question Antonio? He's amazing. Here you go. Adama, no. What's Adama done over the last 2 seasons when he went off to Barcelona? He did all right, actually. He started off really well at Barcelona, but I think it's gone off the record a little bit. Troy doesn't want to play as a wing-back. Adama's crap. When I was on the Adama training for it, the wheels have fallen off. I'm not quite sure what that is. Adama is Aaron Lennon on steroids. I'd take him. I loved Aaron Lennon ripping up the wing. What I would say with Adama is he would absolutely be entertaining. Absolutely be entertaining because he does take players on, and he's very difficult to get the ball off. Like he's strong, isn't he? He's built like a brick shit house. So it wouldn't be the worst signing in the world. But again, I think we should be aiming better, especially as we're going to be in the Champions League, according to James, next season, without cursing it too much. Obviously. Right, I've got the next name for you. Bastoni. So let's go around the room. Bastoni to Spurs. Apparently, Conte wants him. I'm saying I would absolutely love him here, but we shall see. Manchester City are also potentially interested in him as well. So there you go. What do you know about Bastoni, Brendan?
Well, I'm certainly not looking at transfermarket.com right now to check. But he's an Italian international, so in that there's strength. I mean, he's Inter, so he's just won the league last season. So yeah, I'd take him. He's a winner. He's won the Euros. He's won the Italian
centre back.
Yeah, he's centre back. So yeah. Competition for Davies, replacement for Davies. I don't know how many years he's got left on his contract. It's valued at 60 million. So, yeah, I'd certainly take him. Like, if he's young still, 23. So, yeah, I'd certainly take that.
Very young. You put him and Romero in the same team.
Good form taking 23-year-olds out of Serie A. It's worked out well for us in the past.
Suits you, sir. I mean, Dyer in the middle is the odd one out, really, the clogger. But you've got Romero on one side, Bastoni is the left centre back. Oh my God, that would be the stuff that dreams are made of. But Adrian wants to know: has he got a sexy bum, Bren?
Probably. I don't know. I've not seen it. They didn't give that shot on the transfer market website, so I'll check.
I mean, it's fair to say I've seen that we're going to spend 80 million already this summer because they're going to make Kulichevsky and Romero permanent. So there you go. So our first signings will be those two, no doubt. Okay, Bastoni. Let's talk to some others. JP, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd love to get him in. I think I don't think he's actually the shoe-in for first team over Davies, as everyone seems to think. I think Davies has been
is. No,
I think Davies has been fantastic, and we've got a
he
history
has.
bias for Davies,
Davies
but I
has
think
been
that gives us.
fantastic. But it's like comparing the Bisto finest gravy granules, yeah, to the Tesco own brand or the Sainsbury's own brand or the Asda own brand. Like, there's no difference. He is the gravy. He is the finest gravy. You got standard gravy, finest gravy. Bastoni, finest gravy all day long.
Sure. Now, look, my only point there is that I think, like, Dave, if we went through this transfer window and we had to pick one position where we wanted a player but we didn't end up getting one, and we got stuck with the person who was currently there, left centre back's the one for me, because I think Davies has been really good this season.
But just like Craig says, he is just levels above Davies. And actually, I'm all right with having Dyer in there, because Dyer's been great.
Dyer's been good.
Conte.
He's been really good.
I mean, Davis has been great for Conte as well. Let's be honest, but there's a difference. Bastoni is just a much.
I won't disagree with you. Bastoni's a better player, but I get my back up a little bit when people are still trying to say that Davies is shit, because he's been absolutely fantastic.
Davies is not shit. And I've been saying for years his best position is left centre back. He plays for Wales. He's competent at international level. He's going to be competent at club level. Davies is a club man. You should absolutely have him in the side, in the squad, I should say. He should be there or thereabouts. But Bastoni is just different class. James?
Yeah, I rate him. He's a left-sided centre-back who's played under Conte, played a lot against Inter, played for the Italian national team, would improve the team.
Played for Inter under who?
Italy.
Who was his manager at Inter?
Conte.
Exactly. That's why he's coming to us, baby.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be an improvement over Davies. I like Davies, but, Bastoni's young, so he's got time to develop and improve. We do need squad depth in each position. We need 2 quality players in every single position in the pitch. And, that's definitely, if we can get that done for, a reasonable fee, we should definitely do that. Great
gag there by Ken. Great gag.
We should call him Bastoni. Absolutely. We should.
Bastoni.
The gravy, mate.
It's all gravy. I mean, I Daniel's kind of missed the sort of pun. It's all gravy. It's all gravy. Gravy's like the. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Wouldn't have worked quite so far. I don't know many brands of caviar. I would need Steve Diver on the show to describe to me what the low market, mid market, and upper market caviar brands are. Hence why I use gravy. Nothing to do with me being a northerner. Yeah, absolutely. So look, I think we're all in favour of that one. Anyone got anything to add on Bastoni? Going.
Can't say I do.
No. I've also read some utter nonsense this week that we're interested, and I say it's utter nonsense. I hope it's utter nonsense. That we've been interested in Richarlison.
No.
Please
Stop.
no.
Can we not even discuss this one?
I'm going to move straight on.
He works hard. Like, again, I saw the game. It was the beat Chelsea. One of the home games. Like, he was man of the match. He ran his arse off. And again, sorry to talk about arses, but he works hard. He's a workhorse, and that's the sort of player Conte likes. So the fee would be too much, and the wage would be too much. So it's a non-starter. But I wouldn't sniff at Richarlison. I'd take him if it was possible.
He doesn't get in our first team, the fee will be too high. Beyond that, I don't want to talk about it.
We need competition, and Liverpool signed Diaz, they've signed Jota. What's their front three? What's their preferred front three? Do we know? So they've got Firmino. They've got like 5 or 6 players rotating for those positions. So we need strong competition for our front three. Lucas isn't that. So he's an upgrade on Lucas and Bergie. So I'd take him. But yeah, the fee would be too high. And like I said, for a bench warmer or a rotation player, maybe not. But I'd take him. I'd take him. He's won me over. Like I know Paul wants to punch me in the face, but I'd maybe that would change if he was playing for Spurs.
I would not sign Richarlison if you paid me in solid gold bullion. I think he's cheap. He dives all over the place. He's bang average. You know, if he's so good, why have Everton been so shit? If he's a world class player, he should be knocking in goals left, right, and centre. He's inconsistent.
He's been injured a lot this season. He's been injured a lot, and he's not the front man. Yeah,
not having it.
I'm saying I wouldn't want him. He'd be too expensive, so it's a non-starter. But I think he's okay.
Not having it. Not having it. Just not having it. He's pony, absolute pony. Not having it. Lots of rumours about Dele. Yeah, I can't see us signing him, to be honest. Anyone else?
He'll have his pick of suitors.
Yeah,
He's a good player.
Yeah,
great player, but I just don't see us in for him. Right, next one, Tielemans. Now, I've got a very big problem here with Tielemans. My gin glass is empty. I need to go to the fridge. So you're going to have to kill enough time for me to come back, Brendan. Talk to me about Tielemans while I'm getting a gin.
Well, apparently he was offered to us back when Poch was manager, and Poch didn't want him. Speaking to the supporters trust, they do get little tidbits from the club. When we went those 3 windows without signing anyone, he was one of the players that we could have signed. He went to Leicester instead, and has done relatively well there. He's got Premier League experience as a squad player and even a starter. Yeah, I'd take him if it was possible. Leicester have fallen off badly last couple of seasons under Brendan. I think he'd be one for the chop next season. He's one of my tips to lose his job. They need to freshen up, I think. So yeah, I'd take him. So got the Premier League experience. Doesn't really deliver in terms of like great stats for goals and assists, but again works hard, knows the league. I think he'd be a Conte player, and I was disappointed that Poch didn't want him. So yeah, I'd take him now. JPU.
He's better than McGinn, but in the McGinn camp for me of, yeah, I would like him. He's a good player. I think he improves the quality of our squad, but I'm not hot for him like I was maybe 2 seasons ago. I don't think he's been that great the last kind of 18 months. So
I'll ask you a question.
Mm.
Would you take Eriksen or Tielemans?
Eriksen.
Bren?
Probably Eriksen, yeah.
James?
Eriksen.
Well, Eriksen's available for nothing, and Tielemans you're going to have to pay about 50 million quid for. So,
yeah.
Well, how long has he got left in his contract? Do we know?
Tielemans?
A year
Yeah,
after this?
Yeah, after this season, another year.
A year. Yeah,
I think he ends up going for about 35.
He said he wants to go. Like I know a lot of Leicester season ticket holders because I work quite near Leicester, and they are all like expecting him to leave. Like there's no question of him staying at Leicester. But equally, he's their best player. They would all say that as well. And like midfield wise, he runs the show. He's been a bit off the ball this season, and mainly due to this sort of speculation about his future. Yeah, but I think the contract thing's quite big with him. Okay. Like he's been quite vocal about moving on. So another player at Leicester actually who I've seen has been linked with according to Sky Sports. Actually, James, you didn't really give us your Tielemans Spielmans. So what's your view on him?
He's better than Winks.
True.
that's my spiel. Yeah.
Winks and what? 20 million?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you reckon Harry Winks would do a job at Leicester? I kind of would. I don't know, man. Like, he's not brilliant, but he's better than our squad players, which means he's technically an improvement. So I don't hate that deal if that happens. If it's like 25 mil, I don't know, we sell Winks for like 5 or 10. That's decent business to me. Should he start? Probably not. But I mean, again, if Conte wants to play free in midfield in a lot of games next season, then it doesn't hurt to have Tielemans around in the squad to fill in some games. I don't know, if we got Southampton away or whatever, he's good enough for that. Real Madrid away, not really, but it doesn't hurt, does it? I mean, I'd much rather have him come off the bench than Harry Winks. So, yeah,
Okay,
be fine.
Another Leicester lad, James Maddison, is potentially moving on. His set piece delivery is very, very good. It has to be said. What's your thoughts on him, Brendan?
Nah, again, just doesn't really deliver enough. Like I'm with you, yeah, fair enough. His set piece delivery is good. He's got technique, but I don't know. Again, I think the fee would be too high for him. We can get better players from Europe in that position that are similar. And again, I don't think he fits Conte's style. I think, like I said, like Conte is the front three and get players in there, workhorses in the middle, and wing backs, and obviously the three at the back. I don't see where Maddison fits in that. He's not a workhorse. He's not a front three. He's a floater, and so yeah. No, I wouldn't take Maddison. We can get better value from Europe.
I think with Maddison as well, sorry, James, you go.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think he's a B-Tech Jack Grealish. Not brilliant. Don't marry him. Eriksen's better. He's free. Get Eriksen. Gareth Bale's good at free kick delivery. He's also free. There you go. Simple. Get one of them. Done and dusted.
JP?
I think with anyone we're bringing in as well, character has to be as much of it. And I'm not trying to downplay his character, but
I mean, Maddison's an Arsenal fan as well, so add that into the mix.
That workman like mentality and being able to fit in with the squad. I don't know if he's going to be the right kind of personality in the dressing room.
Or is he a gooner? I mean, the news stories you see, I mean, like this, Born to Lose, he's a gooner. I have it on pretty good authority that's not true, and he'd like to play for Spurs. When I say pretty good authority, I know his best mate, so I would say that it's not true. But I don't think Maddison's the man for us. I think that out of the two, you take Tielemans all day long. But as I said before, Eriksen is free. He's going for free. He loves the club. He's played for Conte. Tick, 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 tick. How many more ticks in the box do you need, Brendan? Bring that man home, right?
He didn't love the club that much when he was itching for a move the last year and down tools for at least 6
down tools, though. Come on.
He did, man. His form dropped off. His effort dropped off. He was number one in stats for running.
I think everyone's did, Brendan.
For the Premier League, he was top player for running, and that just dropped. He just stopped. So look, I love the guy. I mean, he's given us amazing service, and yeah, I'd probably still take him back, but I don't know. I think a lot of the eulogising. I don't know. I still feel a bit bitter in how he left that first time. Just seeing how he was like, if you want to leave, fair enough, leave. But he was, to say he loves the club, I think it's a bit much.
Okay, JP.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much he loves the board because I think it wasn't a great relationship when he was leaving. But I would 100% take Eriksen back. 100%. He's everything we're missing at the moment. So yeah, I'd eat my arm off to get him back.
Okay, James.
Yeah, he's better than any other. Well, he's probably the second or third best creative midfielder in the league, behind like De Bruyne, right? So yeah, I take him. I mean, everyone down tools. Harry Kane, you could argue, down tools at the beginning of this season. Like, so should we sell Harry Kane? No. Like, don't be daft. People are human, and sometimes they have emotions, and their effort drops a bit when everyone else's does, and the manager's going a bit nuts. So, if he wants to come back, him and Conte get on. He's not just going to stroll around the pitch for 30 minutes, like. And even if he did, his passing's still better than anyone else we have at the club, so he'd still probably be better if he was glued to the centre circle. So
I'll be honest, I was no on this until I saw us play Brentford. And then I saw how he bossed the game. And I saw his balls through that we just don't have anyone playing those balls through for forwards to run onto. It could just add an extra dimension. He's still got 2-3 years left in him easily at the top level. He knows the club. He knows all the people at the club because he's been there very recently. And he'll come back remotivated under Conte. I've absolutely no doubt. There's no risk to us whatsoever, really. It's so low risk, it's untrue. You've only got his paid wages. Just to me, it's the ultimate no-brainer. The ultimate no-brainer. However, I find this interesting. I'll take Ward-Prowse over Everton. So I wasn't going to talk about Ward-Prowse because he's not on my list. But let's talk Ward-Prowse for a minute. He's a player we hear a lot about. He's a player that we see us linked with a lot, even though there's no real firm links. Fans like to dream that Ward-Prowse would play for us in the future. Where do we sit with JWP? JP?
He's in the same category as Tielemans for me. Like, yeah, I'd take him, but I'd prefer Eriksen over both. I think Ward-Prowse will give us something we haven't had forever in terms of free kick ability and get Harry Kane off him, which would be amazing. But at the same time, I don't think he gives the same quality in terms of what Eriksen can give in hitting those through balls through the forward three. Don't mean he's not bad at it, but I think Eriksen's better in that area, and that's the way we play.
Okay. Brent, Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, I'd take him. I gave the stat in the pod midweek about interceptions, like through the whole season, and Højbjerg was third. First was Rodri, second was Rice, third was Højbjerg. Ward-Prowse was fourth or fifth. So he's a worker. He wins the ball, and his set piece delivery, as we know, is exquisite. The problem with the fee, like they're gonna, you know what Southampton are like. They're a selling club, but they sell well. They get their fees.
At a price.
Yeah.
How much do you think he cost?
60 odd, I'd say.
He's not. We can get that position covered for less than 60 if we go elsewhere.
I'm just taking, but not at that price. Yeah, like if I don't know how many years he's got left, but for 40, I'd go. They wouldn't accept 40, but I'd shoot in for 40, 45. I'd take him because again, we need bodies in there. We need workhorses. We need people that will win the ball back, spread it to the wing backs, play it forward. And he's his set piece. Like he'll score free kicks. When was the last time he scored a direct free kick? Well, it's probably recently.
I don't remember it. I do. Harry Winks versus Morecambe.
That was a fluke though, wasn't it?
Well, it still went in.
You didn't mean it. Then.
You asked the question. I just answered it for you.
Well done. You got it. Yeah.
It's all right. I was sat right behind it at the time, and I couldn't believe it either, to be honest. I mean, it was against Morecambe, so does it count would probably be the question. But, yeah, you're right. We've got no threat from set pieces. What happens generally is the ball's around the box, Harry Kane lines it up, and everybody knows there's no threat whatsoever. Even Eriksen, let's face it, in his last years with Spurs, didn't hit the target very often and couldn't beat the first man at a corner. So, you know, it's it's one of them, isn't it? I mean, I've just seen this from Craig Harlow as well. This goes so there's lots of good options in the transfer market that playmakers, people that can hit a free kick, that are available. But Ward-Prowse's ball striking is up there with anyone, isn't it? Yeah, he just hits that ball beautifully. I don't know. The thing is with Ward-Prowse, and I love his free kicks. I love his set pieces. Is his all-round game that good, James?
No. He's Harry Winks with free kicks.
Admittedly,
very, very good free kicks.
Fourth in the league. Fourth. Over 200 interceptions this season. That is a stat that Harry Winks wouldn't come near that.
You'd have to play to come near that.
Southampton press a lot, which can make individual players look a lot better than they are just because as a team they're pressing quite a lot. And innately, if you are a high-pressing team, you will get significantly more interceptions. If Harry Winks played in a high-pressing team, he'd get quite a lot of interceptions. So I don't know how much of that is actually Ward-Prowse and how much of that is just because of Hasenhüttl's system.
Okay. JP?
What are we still talking about? Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, it was. Would you sign him over Isco and Ericsson?
No, I wouldn't.
You'd have to.
Yeah, I'd take both of them over Ward-Prowse. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, we've been going for an hour and 45 minutes, give or take a few seconds. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button. Please do hit the subscribe button. It means so much to me. And it means so much more to the Tutoring podcast. So please do smash that like button, hit the bell. I'm not talking about Brendan. And make sure you set notifications on. I'm sorry, Brent. It's been a while since I've been on with you, Brent, and I've loved doing the show with you, I must say.
I love you too, man.
So thanks very much for joining us all the way from Brazil.
Anytime. Love being on.
How is Sandro these days? You haven't mentioned him today.
I said on the midweek pod, like I said, he messaged me this time. I'm not
messaged you.
Oh yeah. Drop that one in.
And he was like, he really wants to go to a game with us. Like to sit in the crowd, not like to be invited to the club and stuff. He's like, no, I want the fan experience at the new stadium. It's not been yet to the new stadium. His team's just gone down. I think he's probably looking for another team. He wants to stay in Portugal. So that's what even his agent are working on now, is trying to find a team that will enable him to stay in Lisbon. But yeah, he's good. He's disappointed that they went down. He got a red card, so he missed the last few games. They almost stayed up, but it just wasn't enough. But yeah, he's good spirits, and he'll be back on the pod during the summer.
James, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Lovely to be here as ever. Lovely chat.
Very good. And JP, all the way from Oz, it's been an absolute pleasure, as it always is with you on the show, sir.
It's been great. Perfect start to my morning, so thanks all. And thanks everyone in the chat as well.
What time is it there now?
It's 7:51. I've got 30 minutes till I've got to leave to take the boys swimming. So good start to the morning.
You're living the dream. Enjoy your weekend. And to you all at home, please do hit the like. Please do hit the subscribe. And come on, you Spurs. Next time I talk to you, we are going to have qualified for the Champions League. So join us on Monday for that show. Please don't fuck this up, Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.